Hey, what's up, guys? It's Russo and Jordy with Backdoor Fantasy Sports, and we're going to be talking about Thursday night football for Week 5. We've got the Buccaneers versus the Falcons, and we've got 4 picks for you that we're pretty excited about. We were really close to hitting on Monday Night Football. Do you want to walk through that slip briefly, Jordy?
Yeah, so Russo got the dub on his end. He took David Montgomery for over 12.5 fantasy score. He went for 15. Like we said, if David Montgomery got a touchdown, that was cash money, and he did. And then we had he also had Jackson Smith and Jigba over 4.5 receptions. That was a great call. He went for 8. It's crazy how much him and DK both get targeted in that offense. It's a really fun offense to be a part of. But I took Kenneth Walker over 10 fantasy score. Like I said, I felt really good about this one because they were saying that he was like, he had the total green light, and boy, he looked like it. He had
My
two.
gosh.
Yeah, he went absolutely ballistic. He actually almost got me a comeback win in one of our leagues where I have like a team that has like 6 people on IR. But he went for 33 over the 10.5, so he definitely cashed his. The only goose egg of the night was my Tyreek Hill pick. It's actually super frustrating. I took his rushing and receiving yards over 54.5. And he, right out the gates, first touch of the game, he gets a 16-yard rush attempt. I was like, okay, awesome. This is a great start because he never really gets that many rushes, but it was only 2 extra yards on top of the receiving yard prop. So I was like, we're golden. But it was a struggle. Tyler Huntley did not do as well as I thought he would. He looked better towards the end of the game, but he just could not link up with Tyreek. Tyreek's one of those players where it's like, that's just a timing thing. They'll eventually get it down, but that was a dumb play for me on my part, knowing that Tyreek Hill is a fast player, but I thought he would just make it easy for him. But he missed him on 2 go balls. Tyreek Hill was wide open twice. He underthrew him once. He had to come back to it, and it just didn't. He didn't grab it, and then he had him beat bad. Tyreek had the defensive back just totally burned, and he overthrew him. So any one of those linked up, we would have been, singing, laughing to the bank here. But it was just really close. He only needed 13 more yards. He ended up going for 42 receiving and rushing yards. So close. Can't knock myself too hard on that one, but it is what it is.
I wouldn't even call it. I wouldn't call that a bad play personally. Like, yeah, I was trying to decide, because the thing is like they were in such desperation mode. Like, we were anticipating like they're just gonna have to find ways to get Tyreek the ball.
Yeah,
and Tyreek had the opportunities. He had 3 or 4 rushing attempts.
Yeah.
If he breaks off one of those, so they were making it a point to get him the ball. If he connects on any of those, like that, one of those was going to be like an 80-yard touchdown.
Yeah.
It was, so.
He had plenty of targets too. I think he had like 9 targets in that game. And also the game script was perfect. They were down. Yeah. Tennessee was just killing the clock with the running back. So, Will Levis turned the ball over once. So it was really a good game script for that to hit. It just, they didn't link it up. And that's just all it is. One of those catches would have been cashed.
I was thinking about in Dynasty. I was thinking about when we made the video. I was set on. I had 1 spot left at flex, and I had Tyreek Hill, and I had JSN sitting on my bench. And it wasn't until like an hour or 2 before the game I just started to rethink, and I was like, I think JSN's going to outproduce Tyreek in this because of the game script as far as like the super high over under in that Lions game. And then I started like watching more tape of Tyler Huntley, and I still think he's their best option moving forward. But I was just like, it's going to take them like 3 weeks minimum to really get him comfortable with Mike McDaniel's offensive approach. And so I was just like, I chose JSN over Tyreek, but I mean, Tyreek had the opportunities, and he had that one like little like lateral pass that was right there for him, and he just fumbled the ball, and literally like they lost that ball. So it wasn't about the play. It just the play didn't deliver, but I don't think that was a bad pick because the line was so low, so
that was my whole thing. And if he catches one of those balls, we don't even have this conversation. So
yeah, and if he would have ripped off one of those runs for like 80 yards, no one would have been like, that's Tyreek doing Tyreek things, so right. But let's talk about tonight's game. We also have some question marks we're going to get into on the side of the Atlanta Falcons. Before we do, though, if you haven't signed up for Underdog yet, we've talked about it. Like, they're dropping stuff every week. Well, now they're going to be dropping a special every day for the month of October. Right now, they've got like some boosts on the board. But if you haven't signed up yet and you want to take advantage of this, they've got like an incredible amount of alt lines now if you use the mobile app. And the alt lines pay out very generously, and there's tons of them. Like, even on like stuff you wouldn't expect. Like, the thing I love is they'll let you go alt lines on rushing and receiving, not like individually. Like, you can do it individually too, but like the rushing and receiving combo, I love that when I can bump those up. But yeah, I've gotten up to like 8-9x on a single play on Underdog. Plus, they're dropping these specials every day. So if you guys want to sign up for Underdog, use code BACKDOOR. You'll get up to $1,000 in bonus cash with your first deposit just for signing up. And they're going to give you a free pick to help you cash right out of the gates. On top of the specials, they're going to be dropping every day. They also have best ball tournaments, which are a lot of fun. It's kind of like DraftKings style, but it's for the rest of the season. You know, where you make out, you don't even make a slip. You're literally drafting like fantasy football. If you haven't played best ball, it's a lot of fun. So I think it's called Best Ball Resurrection, where they'll let you draft mid-season. So there's all sorts of fun stuff to do on Underdog. Use code BACKDOOR or go through the link in the description of the video, and they will hook you up with that deposit match, the free pick, and you can get into all of the exciting stuff over here at Underdog. And then we're also on Sleeper. If you guys want to jump on Sleeper picks, it's also a lot of fun. They have a ton of alt lines, and it's really practical that you can just make slips while you're setting your fantasy football lineup. If you're already on Sleeper, might as well jump on Sleeper picks. Use code BACKDOORFS. Just throw the FS on the end there, or go through the link in the description of the video, and they'll give you a 100% deposit match up to $100. So it's good to diversify the platforms you're on. So definitely take advantage of that. And let's talk about these plays. So I love Kade Otton in this game. His targets have been going up. I'll break the whole thing down, but 3.5 receptions ended up being the line that I loved most for him. And I'm getting this on Prize Picks and Underdog. So 3.5 receptions for more. And then Tyler Allgeier, I like him to go over 40. I like him to go well over this personally tonight, but 41.5 rushing and receiving yards is what we're getting on Prize Picks, and it's at 42.5 on Underdog, and I'm still comfortable taking the over on both of those. Those are going to be my plays. What are you getting into, Jordy?
Yeah, I'm going to be taking Bijan Robinson for under 14.5 rushing attempts. I'll get into why. And then I'm taking Rashad White for over 9.5 rushing attempts. Taking those on both platforms. All right.
Well, let's start breaking it down. I'll start with Kade Otton here. So yeah, receptions wise, he was pretty quiet in the first 2 weeks, and then they started turning things up. If we look at the amount of targets he's got in the last 2 games, he went for 8 targets against Denver, 9 targets against Philly, and converted those pretty well. Went 7 of 8 against Denver and 6 of 9 against Philly. As far as receptions go, I thought about taking his targets. If you like his targets better, they're only at 5. So we also have a situation with Mike Evans where he's good to go, but he was a little bit banged up, during camp, and we have a short week. So what I've noticed across the whole league this year is when guys have, maybe it's just because it's early in the season, but when guys have a little bit of a questionable week before the game, they're not giving them typically their full snaps. Now, correct me if I'm wrong, but Mike Evans, was he like a little bit banged up going into the last game and he still played? Jordy? I think Jordy.
Yeah. He was banged up going into the last game.
He still went for like 12 or 14 targets. So
yeah,
that doesn't always that doesn't always play out, but even with him going for that amount of targets, Kade Otton still had 9 targets, converted it into 6 receptions. So I really like this play with the receptions, because if he were to get like 7 or 8, I think he's going to catch 4 of those because he's pretty solid when he gets the opportunity. He's got a great matchup here, 22nd in receptions allowed to tight ends. So we got a juicy matchup there. If we look at this over under, oh, they just bumped it up. Didn't I say it was 42.5 earlier? It's up to 44 now, with the Falcons favored by 2.5. So we got a reasonably high over under for this game, and both of these teams are solid. So I think we're going to get a good Thursday night football game. I don't see this particularly being like a snooze fest. I don't see an outcome where that's going to happen. The Falcons have been good about slowing teams down, but I think that Baker is going to have a good outing. And he's got a lot of options, even if Mike Evans is a little bit banged up. So I think that both of these teams are going to have like productive outings for fantasy sake. If we take a look at Daily Grind, they don't agree with me on the receptions. They like his fantasy score best, but they don't have a lot of Kade Otton stuff juiced that much anyways. So this is the DFS optimizer. It really helps us confirm our plays, and it also helps us find plays. But we don't always agree with what the AI is predicting. But it's nice having AI at our fingertips to help us make these decisions. So yeah, the receptions are favored to go under just slightly. They pretty much have it at a 50-50 shot. It's at 50.12% odds to hit the under at a -117. I think he's going to go for at least 4 receptions tonight, but go with your gut. Like I said, the targets are just at 5. So if you're more comfortable with that, or if you want to just fade this play entirely, go with your gut. It's your decision to make at the end of the day. But they do have his fantasy score as their favorite because it's only at 7 on Prize Picks and it's bumped up higher on other platforms. So yeah, I'm going to be taking the receptions for more though. He's been heating up. We saw at the end of last year, Kade Otton was becoming more and more relevant. They love him in the red zone because he's another big body in there. Him and Mike Evans are great for red zone type stuff. So yeah, I love this play. I don't think Allgeier has any. Okay, yeah, they do have a little note here. He's failed to exceed 3.5 receptions in 4 of his last 5 games on the road. So he doesn't play as well on the road. So I know it sounds like I'm talking you out of this play. Go with your gut. I'm super comfortable with this. I'm going to be throwing it into several different slips, but I think he's good for 4 receptions tonight, especially with the soft matchup there, 22nd in receptions allowed. All right, let's talk about Tyler Allgeier. So last week, before week 4, Bijan Robinson was dealing with a little bit of some sort of minor injury. He's calling it just he's a little bit banged up. He's got some bruises he needs to heal. But when he says he's good to go, and then we see the game and he ends up getting out snapped by Tyler Allgeier. Allgeier had more carries than him, and Allgeier was more productive. Allgeier had a good. The thing is like for Bijan owners like myself, the truth is Tyler Allgeier is a really good running back, and it sucks that they're in the same backfield because Tyler could be a starter. He'd be a great starter for any team that wanted to give him the opportunity. He had 20 receiving yards last game and 80 total, 60 rushing yards. He's got a great matchup here. But before I get off the Bijan topic, so Bijan plays the game. We see Tyler Allgeier get more touches. And then right after that, on Monday, we get a questionable tag for Bijan again. And the coaches are saying, the coaches haven't said much, but Bijan came out and said, they're just giving me a rest day. I just need some bruises that need to heal up. But like we were talking about at the top of the show, like this early in the season, I think that they're not risking, if guys are a little bit banged up, they're not risking it and having them potentially get into, we've seen a crazy amount of injuries so far. So I think they're being a little bit careful. My point is they don't need to give Bijan like a full bell cow role when they've got someone like Tyler Allgeier. If he's a little bit banged up, they want these guys to stay healthy for the long haul. So I think that on a short week, it's like you had a questionable tag on Monday after you played and you got out touched by Allgeier. And then now you've got a short week and you're still a little bit banged up. So I don't think he gets the heavy workload that he typically would get. So I like Allgeier to get more touches, and he's got a pretty solid matchup here. Overall, 22nd in rushing yards allowed, 19th in receiving yards allowed. Might be a little bit tougher against running backs. Okay, so 15th in rushing yards allowed to running backs and 31st in receiving yards allowed. So that makes me think that receiving yard line might actually look pretty good at 4.5 if you'd rather take that. I'm going to put them together because I think the volume is going to be there, but 4.5 receiving yards might be the one to take. So go with your gut, especially with them being 31st in receiving yards allowed. So yeah, I mean, I like a lot of these plays for Allgeier tonight. I think he's going to get at least the workload he got last week. So the DFS optimizer from Daily Grind actually agrees with me. For overs, they have his rushing and receiving yards as his best play as far as overs go. They have it at a 51.08% odds to hit the over at a minus 124. And you can see all these other platforms have this up at 42.5 already. But even Underdog over here at 42.5 is still favoring it to go over at a minus 122. That's what's so killer about this DFS optimizer. You don't have to bounce around to all these platforms and see what everyone's odds are. What line are you getting it at on this platform versus that platform? Daily Grind just puts it all right there for you. So if I'm on Underdog and I'm thinking about taking this 42.5, Daily Grind's going to be like, hey, by the way, it's at 41.5 on Prize Picks if you'd rather just go play a slip on there, and then you can just jump over there. It's a killer tool. If you want to try this out, they're partners of us. They're our longest running partner. They got a hold of us early on in the channel, and so they're giving all of our viewers 25% off. You can lock that in for any of their tools for as long as you want. So if you want to lock it in for the whole football season and take advantage of that 25% off all season, you can stretch it out because basketball's coming up. If you want to lock it in for a whole year, go for it. I mean, like I would. It's a really killer tool. It will help you cash more often, and just has a lot to offer. And there's a lot of different ways you can use it. So yeah, dgfantasy.com, code backdoor, and they'll hook you up with that 25% off for as long as you want. And then if you guys want to check out Allgeier, this is a really killer app as well, another partner of ours. You can get everything right in front of you as far as the real like meat and potatoes, like all of the details you need to look at the history of the player in every different category. You can see the matchups specifically to the player, the position. You can jump over to just overall as a team, what that looks like, injury reports, insights about the players. Allgeier is awesome, and it's beautiful to look at. I love the green and red to like help you identify all your markers. I love stuff like that. Like I messed around with a little bit of day trading, and this reminds me of it a little bit because I can like see trends, and kind of decide like, oh, he's due for a big game, or like so it's a lot of fun. But if you want to try Allgeier, just go through the link in the description. You don't need a code or anything. Just sign up through that link, and they will give you a full week to try this out, see how you like it. So you might as well take advantage of it for a weekend. Take advantage of the free usage of it over the course of these games for NFL. All right, well, that's going to cover my plays. I'm going to pass it over to Jordy, and we'll go from there.
All right, yeah. So to get into my plays here, I'm going to start by talking about this Bijan Robinson play and why I like the under on his rush attempts here. Honestly, I like the under on this one because Bijan is still a little questionable coming into this game. Last game he got outsnapped by Tyler Allgeier. He only was a part of 15% of the rushing plays, or 15 of the rushing plays, 29% of them. Whether that's the case tonight, I don't know. I think he gets a little bit closer to this line. I still don't think he goes over it though, because the over under on this game is Tampa Bay is favored to not win this game. They got the Falcons by -2. I don't think that's going to be the case. I think the Tampa Bay Buccaneers are going to stomp. I don't know if they're going to stomp them, but I think they're going to get out to an early lead in this game. And I think their defense looked really, really good against Philadelphia. I know that was a Philly team with no AJ Brown or Devonta Smith, but I still like the way their defense is looking, and they looked really good against the pass. So if they can just shut down Kirk Cousins and get him a little bit rattled, I think this game is going to be a Atlanta Falcons trying to catch up thing. So I don't think Bijan is going to get as many rush attempts as he will like receiving work, because he looks really, really good in the receiving game. I mean, when he catches the ball, there's not many more running backs in the league that are as dynamic as he is in the open field. So I think they're going to get him more involved in the passing game, and I think we're going to see more of this 1-2 punch from Allgeier and stuff. I think it makes sense for their team. So especially for tonight when he's questionable already coming into this game. So I really like Bijan to stay under the rush attempts here. If we look at this on the year already, he's gone under this twice, gone over it twice. He went for 18 rush attempts against Pittsburgh. Now, they still lost that game. They were down a majority of that game, and he still hit this rush attempts. But that game was a lot closer. So I think they were running him a lot, thinking, and he was healthy at the time. But I think they were trying to kill the clock in case they did get the lead back. It left Pittsburgh in an awkward situation. That's usually what happens. If you're only down by like a touchdown, you're not going to stop running the ball, obviously. It's only when you're down like, 2 possessions or, 2 scores and you hurry up. But we saw that kind of against Philly where they were down. They just had to start winging the ball out there. He did hit this against Kansas City, but in the last game against the Saints, he missed it when he, got a little bit banged up. So I just like the game script coming into this. He's getting 61% of the snap share. Obviously, I don't think that's going to change in the long term, but for tonight, I like the idea of him kind of being on a limited snap count when it comes to the rush attempts. So going to be taking that one under. Daily Grind agrees with me on this one, 51.63% on the under to -126. That's pretty much across the board. So do with that information as you will. If you don't like the play, you can always fade it. Going into Rashad White here, I really like this play to go over. The last 2 times he's played them, he's gone for 13 and 25 rush attempts. I don't think that's going to be the case because they do have Bucky Irving now, who's looking like, a rising star in this league. Honestly, like the dude looks really, really solid. He's very, very explosive and dynamic. So they're kind of, now the rushing share has gone to a 43-37 kind of thing. Rashad White has 41 attempts, Bucky Irving has 35. So they're kind of creeping up on this being a committee now. Sorry to all you Rashad White owners, but Bucky Irving is the truth. So I feel pretty good about this though, because I think if they do get up in an early lead in this game, they're going to feed these guys. Both of these guys are very capable. I think Bucky Irving is the better playmaker, but I think Rashad White is a solid running back. So I think he's going to get at least 10 rush attempts in this game. Already on this year, he's only gone under this one time, and it was that disgusting game they had against Denver. There was no running the ball in that game, and he still went for 6 attempts. They lost that game 26-7. When they beat Philly, he had 10. When they beat Detroit, he had 10. The first game against Washington, he had 15. So I think this is going to be a high over-under game. I think 44 is honestly pretty accurate. I think it's going to be a good game. I can see this being like a 20s, high 20s game even. So I think if that's the case, they're going to run these running backs a lot to try to control the clock. So 9.5, I think it's a really good line to get this at. I wouldn't take it anything over 9.5, honestly. If it goes to 10 and you like the idea of it pushing, go for it. But I think 10 is a really, really good number for this to go over. On Daily Grind, it's a 50.17% chance to go over to -118. So they're really on the fence about this one going either way. I think it's just because of the game script. They think the Falcons are going to win this game for some reason. I just don't think the Falcons look that good to me yet, where it's like, okay, Tampa Bay is looking like a deep playoff team in my opinion, and Atlanta Falcons are still looking like they got to figure some things out, and they have a hurt Bijan Robinson, so it's a questionable Bijan Robinson. So I just want to see what it looks like tonight, but these are the 2 plays I'm feeling the best about. If you guys want to go check out Chalkboard, definitely go check them out. Chalkboard has been a lot of fun. We talk about alt lines all the time, but they are the king of alt lines because you can bump things up, like 3 times over there. So if you really like say you're taking Rashad White's receiving yards here, you can bump this up to like 69.5 or like 75.5 and you get like to a 2 to 3x multiplier. Sometimes you get a really nice play that's like a 4.5x multiplier, depending on how high you go with it. But they have a lot of really fun lines. Like I seen they had a Ray McLeod line where you could bump it up to like 45.5 and it was like a 3x or something. So something like that I'm gonna definitely take advantage of, because you see this guy's gone for 42, 52 again. Like the dude is a big playmaker, so I like stuff like that to go over there and just bump it up and make kind of a YOLO slip. So it's a lot of fun. If you guys want to go check them out, go use code BACKDOOR at checkout and they'll match your first deposit up to $100, and they'll give you a free play to help you cash. Not only that, but they run like 6 specials a day over there. On Sunday, it's a lot of fun because you can pair those with a bunch of things. I've been hitting just a bunch of 2-mans on Prize Picks lately, but I'm like, you know what? I'm going to go over there Sunday and really try to just take advantage of all of those discounts. So in the Discord, I'm going to do a little challenge with that this week where I'm going to just try to take as many of those as I can and pair them with really fun plays and try to hit those. So if you guys want to go check that out, definitely check out Chalkboard, and Russo will talk about it, but definitely join our Discord because it's been a lot of fun in there, and we've been having a lot of success with like CS2 stuff at night and stuff like that. So it's been a lot of fun in there as well. But that's it for me. I'll pass it over to Russo now.
All right. So what Jordy was trying to say without coming across braggy is he's been on an absolute terror. Well, I shouldn't say that on YouTube. You get whatever, but he's been on fire. He has been on fire with esports over the last couple of days. And so I think your boy's getting back in rhythm with the esports, which is exciting for the whole Discord. I've been telling you all season, I'm not jumping in yet, but it's because I was waiting for this. As soon as Jordy catches fire with esports, I'm like, okay, now I'll start tailing these because I don't follow it enough to kind of make my own decisions. But that's what's nice about Discord. Speaking of Discord, well, actually, before I get to that, I just want to let you guys know, Chalkboard has 4 different specials for tonight's game. They've got the Bijan Robinson boost, anytime TD, just 1 touchdown is a 2x. I don't know if I'm going to take that one. We'll have to see. I might just take a chance on it. But they've got Kirk Cousins over 149 and a half passing yards. Chris Godwin over 25 and a half passing yards. I love this one, this Mike Evans boost, 4.5 receptions for 2.2x. So that's one I'll definitely take advantage of. But Chalkboard is a lot of fun. Make sure you go jump on there. And let's talk about the Discord real quick. Just a couple more things to wrap up the show. But I'll show you. They had a good Taco Tuesday. Jordy, you were on fire for Taco Tuesday too. Let's see. Yeah, there's some esports. Anyways, we work together as a community. We have a lot of fun, just like a family in here. If you guys want to join, go through the link in the description for Patreon. That's where you sign up. They manage our subscriptions. Once you're in Patreon, just go to the settings and go to connected apps. And then you just click on Discord, and then they log you in. And then once you're logged in through Patreon, it'll unlock the whole channel for you. If you decide to do that, make sure you hop in the community chat. Let us know you're new, because we've actually been getting a lot of new members lately, which is awesome. But we want to get to know you. We want to show you around. We've got extra analysts in here, moderators, like everyone, like just a team of people that are here to help if you have questions. And we want to just make sure you understand how to use the different channels, so you know where to post your slips, where to find other people's slips, different things like that. So just let us know if you join so we can welcome you properly. And last thing, make sure you're following us on X. We post content on here as well, so you can go to just @backdoorfs is our handle. And then make sure you're following Moose, one of our analysts who doesn't do the videos. We'll probably eventually get to a point where we get him set up to do videos with us too. But he's great. He's posting all the time. Here's Moose right here. He posted, this is from, I think, Taco Tuesday. But yeah, go follow Moose. He's awesome. All of our hands. Awesome. Yeah, it's awesome, man. He's. I didn't even. That's the first time I haven't looked at that closely either. That's hilarious. He's got a Moose with a basketball. Gosh. We're so lucky to have him. He's such a good dude, and he's really killer at what he does. So go follow him. He'll give you killer content. He posts every single day. He's already got plays up. He was posting plays yesterday for some of today's picks, and he's really good with goblins. I don't mess with goblins that much, but I watch Moose just continue to cash, and he is just chipping away, building the bankroll. But yeah, follow us on X, and I think that covers everything. If you're new to the channel, make sure you subscribe. hit the notification bell. If you guys have any fantasy questions about tonight, just drop them in the comments. I love that this is kind of becoming a thing. We love helping people with like start sit questions, different things like that. If you have questions about props, anything, just drop us a comment and we will get back to you. So yeah, thanks for tuning in, guys. We'll catch you in the next video.
Good luck, guys.